Hello and welcome to Mumblecast, only structured through the research podcast extravaganza. My name is Liam, as always, I'm here with my co-host, Kayla.
Hi.
Hello, how are you?
Good, how are you?
I'm fine, thank you. I'm a little bit tired. How's your week been? It's actually been too long since we did our last podcast.
No.
Well,
it's been good.
Week, according to everyone who's listening.
Yeah, it's been good. Still not much going on.
No, I haven't done much either.
No.
I'm trying to think, this weekend, what did I do? Nothing. Played rugby as usual.
Yeah.
Say usual, as usual now. And worked out, and that was about it.
Yep.
Yeah.
Same, minus the rugby.
Minus the rugby. Yeah. And it's been quite miserable. The temperature's getting warmer in Houston, but it's still
Thank God.
pretty cloudy.
It's just dreary.
Yeah.
I think that's why we're tired, because it's just gross.
It's like there's nothing you want to do this afternoon because like this. So we're going to, I say this afternoon. I told you guys we're doing it Saturday for once. We're doing it early and it should be out all by Wednesday this one week.
We're being productive.
Yep. So today we're going to just more of a discussion more than information.
It's information and discussion.
Yeah. So what's going to be on?
Dogglegangers.
Yes. You heard right, guys. Not doppelgangers, but dogglegangers. What's a doggleganger?
It is a word you made up the other day.
It is a word I made up, but I think it perfectly encapsulates what we're going to talk about.
It does. So these are going to be how how dogs kind of like take on their human personality. So two parts of it. So like how humans kind of choose dogs based on the types of breeds and like what they're looking for in a dog, but then in turn the dog kind of like shifts their personality and like tends to take on the personality of the human. So,
And is this strictly personality or a little bit looks as well?
A little bit looks as well.
A little bit looks as well. Okay, that sounds good. Well, in that case,
let's get ready to mumble.
All right, so tell me, what have you got?
Okay, so
Tell
I
me
noticed this. I used to play this video game when I was younger, and it was a 101 Dalmatians video game.
Okay.
And in this video game, like if you watch 101 Dalmatians, you can kind of, especially the animated version, you can kind of see it in that. But it was especially apparent in the video game where the dogs looked and acted like the humans. And I noticed it then. And like the skinny Weimaraner type dogs had a very skinny, tall owner.
How many different types of dogs were there in this game?
I don't know. No, it wasn't. In this one, it wasn't just Dalmatians. So, like, I remember there was this one game you could play where it was different windows, and it was kind of like a matching game, and you had to match the owner to the dog.
Okay.
And it was definitely buying into this whole like idea of the dogs matching the humans, and so like you'd have like a really fat guy with like a bulldog or something like that, and so. And you had to, it was like a memory game matching type thing. And so that's like the first time I ever remember seeing it. And then from there, like growing up, like my family dog was just, we had a Pomeranian. So it was just like, didn't want to play really. It was hyper when it was a puppy, but it like, I couldn't take it on runs. I couldn't go hiking with it. Like it was which our dog now stays in the house, but it was like just like a lap dog. And then Drake's family dog was the same way. Like it didn't want to play. Like it would play a little bit, but it wasn't like an active dog. And so like growing up with those two dogs, like we were very active. And so we were like, we're going to get an active dog when we get a dog. And so like we did like a lot of research, and then looks wise, we decided like we like huskies. So like we like the way they look. So, and we also like that they are very active, very animated, very just like always on the go. So then we got a husky. And
did you say they're animated? Are huskies animated? I know you can't
for
really
sure.
say that now,
Well,
but before I would have never said they were very animated dogs.
if you look at all of the like Instagram posts and everything, they're pretty goofy.
I guess so.
I think that they definitely are animated.
But would you consider yourself goofy?
I think it's like two different things. Like I think that they definitely have their own, like the breed has their own personality traits, but then they start taking on the traits of their owner. So that's kind of like where we're going to go with this topic today.
I see. So, in your experience then, okay, so let's see, what would, you might not want to talk about this, but what would you consider your personality traits? Or yours and Drake's? I'm assuming your dog will take up a bit of both.
Yeah.
Unless you consider yourself, well, first of all, let's say, okay, no, actually go on, talk about that.
So we were talking about this earlier, and I think that she definitely does have like the mix of both of us. Like she definitely is more like active and wants to like do things, and she wants to play and everything, and like that she like feeds off of our energy. So if you're sick, she wants to lay down and cuddle with you, and so she's very, very like loving and like compassionate type thing, which I think like that falls under the more me thing, and like wants to like be like, I call her like my emotional support animal, because she like, when she sees anybody upset, like she tries to be there, and I think that she gets that side like more from me. And then the like hyper like always wanting to play like in your face side, I think she gets that from Drake. I don't really know where she gets the bitchiness from. Maybe a little bit of both of us.
Yeah. So do you think dogs' personalities are built on their experiences and how they respond to the alpha, rather than actual creating personalities of their own? Like, do you think a dog has a personality before it has a family? Like, if it was by itself, would it have a personality out with being amongst people?
I think so. Maybe not like what we would consider like a personality, but definitely like that's like the trait, like the husky traits. Like she would have those regardless.
So if you didn't get a husky, say you had got a Labrador, if you had got a sheepdog or a collie, or well, it's the same thing, or even like a pug or whatever, do you think it would still have a very similar personality to Sadie because it's your dog?
I don't know. That's part of it though, right? Because like I think we chose her because of what our personalities are, and so we kind of like impart us on her. Like Sadie's very, very like, I know you get to see a lot of the like hyperness, but she's very, very laid back and like doesn't. Yeah, she like anybody could come in and she's like like very chill, very like she wants to play, but I think that's more of like a breed hyperness thing. But she would be best friends with. Maybe not best friends. I don't want to take that away from anybody, but she would be friends with anybody. And it's because of that, like, I think she sees that from us. Like, we constantly have people over, and that kind of was just something she picked up along the way. And then the other thing is, like, she definitely is very, like, picky with her. Like, she makes choices. Like, you can give her 2 options, and she will think about it and make a choice.
That's not like you at all, then.
I do make choices.
You make choices.
I don't like to potentially
make a choice that someone else won't.
Exactly.
Like. Yes, I get that. Yes, where Sadie would just pick what the hell she wants, but that's because she doesn't have compassion, because dogs can't have compassion, and not in the same way humans do.
Yeah. So, and then I've definitely seen this in other dogs too. Like Sadie aside, like I've seen owners who are very anxious, and then their dogs take on that same trait, and then it's like, my dog has anxiety, and I'm like, but you bring it on them. Yeah. By putting them in that situation. And so like I definitely see where dogs like take on that stuff. And I think a lot of it has to do with how their owners respond in situations, so then they tend to respond the same way. So
there's a couple of questions here. One, in a family, who does the dog take off?
That's a good question.
Because in my eyes it depends. So I believe in relative hierarchy in everything. And I believe that dogs coming into families will put themselves naturally into a position within that hierarchy. And it's never always, very rarely, it's always at the bottom. Yeah. So I don't know whether is it the person who plays them with the most, or is it the person who they respect the most?
See, in our situation, that's definitely been a struggle. Like Sadie, we try to let her know that like Drake and I are both alpha, and then she comes next.
Yeah, that's never the case.
Yeah.
Oh, you mean alpha to her, you mean?
Yeah.
Okay, yeah.
And we try to like show that like we're on the same field, like you need to respect both of us. But she definitely respects Drake more.
Yeah.
But I've also read where a lot of times male dogs will respect the female owner more, and female dogs will respect the male owner more.
Yeah. Okay, that makes sense a little bit. I know. So my family, we had 2 dogs, one that I can't really remember and one that I was well aware of. And even my little brother's dog now, I can think most of them really consider my dad top of the chain. And even my little brother's dog, who lives with my little brother and his wife and all this sort of stuff, still considers dad almost like, I don't want you to say that, the alpha or the don, the head of the family type thing. And I think part of that is they can see that whether it's Declan, like Cooper's the dog, Cooper's owner respects this person, so this person gets top, or if it's just because my dad spends time with the dog in a manner that other people don't. So it's hard for me to tell. But I know our first dog, who was a female, Cooper's a male, they both have a very similar respect for my father.
Yeah.
Than they would for me. But maybe that's because, again, I don't spend much time with either of them.
Yeah. It's so interesting because, like, also, like, one of our friends has become really close with Sadie, and Sadie lets her do things that she won't let Drake or I do. No, Drake and I, we can forcibly touch her paws, but like she's not a fan of us touching her paws. Like it's always it's to clean them or like something. Like she's not a fan when we touch her paws, but then this person can go in and like grab her paw and just hold it and like rub in between her like the little toes or whatever, like all of that, and Sadie just sits there and is like okay with it.
Do you think that's another hierarchy thing? Like, does she consider our friend above her or below her, or not even part of it, so it's not really the same?
At first I didn't think, because we all live together, I think it's like she's in that ranking now. And I think that Sadie sees her as like a part of this like hierarchy of people, and like because I think Drake's parents are also in that, and I think they're at the bottom because Sadie could get them to do literally anything she wanted them to do. Yeah, they would feed her whatever Sadie wanted, so like they're like down here, and then I think that like it's Drake, and then actually maybe she might be above Drake at this point with the paw thing, but it's just like
you all called Sadie. Who would Sadie go to?
Drake.
So Drake's at the top then.
Maybe, but I don't know. It might be because Drake plays with her more.
But that would still put Drake in the higher. Up in the
it's
hierarchy.
definitely me last. I'm aware of that. It's fine.
But that also comes into dogs react very well to tone, and they very, very well to like presence and all this sort of thing, which you have to have with these animals, you know.
Actually, if we're all standing in a row, she might come to Drake's parents first because they feed her.
That's true. Yeah. So again, maybe that also affects things.
Yeah.
Like,
she's like, I'm gonna get cheese. I'm going over here.
Yeah. And she
screw all of you.
Yeah. If she somehow responds to whoever's calling, she'll get what she wants. So there's a little bit of that as well.
Yep. That's why she's 18 pounds overweight.
Yeah.
18 now.
Wow. Well, that can't be an excuse for her parents now. Must be Drake's parents now. That's all you guys.
We can't. I think that her metabolism has slowed down, and
she was only away for like 10 months, if that. You've had her for 5 years.
We've cut her diet down to nothing.
But is she exercising much?
Yeah.
As much as she used to? She's also getting older, so that's just generally
I think like all of that, all the factors combined. Yeah. But yeah, so
I'm trying to think who else I know and their pets. I don't really know too many people with pets. At least, I don't know the pets well enough to relate them to the people. I have personality-wise
another friend who her dog is very goofy, and also she's very goofy. So like I can see like they're like a match, perfect match. And it's just like this dog is just like floppy and goofy and like doesn't really like.
Yeah, okay, I see what you're saying.
And then she's kind of like, it's like very similar personalities. And like I said, the one like with like the very anxious one and like the very anxious owner. And so there's a lot of dogs and I also think it depends on how much time you spend with them. Like my sister doesn't spend very much time with her dog, and her like I don't see that same personality type thing there. Like it's just like her dog's just a dog. So there's definitely that too. There's definitely the times where it's just like, oh, this is just the dog.
Yeah, and I'm sure it depends on when you got the dog, where you've got the dog from, and all these things. If it's rescue, if it's from a puppy,
oh, for
all
sure.
that sort of stuff.
I think that played a big role in Sadie and us because we got her when she was 6 weeks old. Yeah, not a great idea, but yeah, I think that like really.
She must have been so small.
So little. That's a different story.
Why was that a bad idea?
Because you're not supposed to eat them until they're like 10 weeks old, but the breeder refused to let her stay with the mom until she was old enough to be weaned off the mom. Yeah. And it was kind of, at that point, it was like, well, let's just get you out of here because this clearly isn't a good situation for you anyway. And we ended up having to fly Drake's brother to live with us because we both were working, and like Sadie couldn't be left alone for longer than like 30 minutes at a time. Yeah. So it was.
Huh. Why did you choose the name Sadie?
So, Grey's Anatomy. There's a Grey's Anatomy character named Sadie, and I always liked the name. That's also where our next dog's name will come from, too.
Grey's Anatomy?
Huh?
Grey's Anatomy?
Yeah. His name's Lexi.
Okay.
So we'll have Sadie and Lexi. And they're not crap names.
Hospital characters. They're bad for hospital characters. Yeah. I wouldn't want a Dr. Lexi. No thanks.
No.
Or Lexi the doctor.
I have heard that, so recently another one of my friends said that we're trying to get a red husky next. And she said that red huskies that she's worked with in the past were all very goofy and like just weird. And Drake and I both were like, you've met our dog. Like that's a little scary that you've said this. Yeah. Like what are we getting ourselves into? So
is that planned for any time?
We're on the list.
Oh, okay.
So.
Nice. How long is that list, you know?
So it's basically anytime we get the emails, and then if there's a litter that's born that has a red female, then we can ask to get it.
Yeah.
But that's a very like not common gene, so it's just like waiting until.
Should have gone for that post that I gave you like 6 months ago. It was like
we could have all had huskies.
Yeah. So going back to the dogs and the partners. So apparently there are studies that show that depending on your physical traits, you will rescue or get a dog with similar physical traits. So it's more likely for a slightly plump person to go for a slightly plump dog, or someone with curly light hair to go for a curly light haired dog. So I think that's quite interesting. I don't know what the psychology behind that is. Like, do people get dogs because they want them to be part of their family, so they try and get one to match their looks because it's like a family thing? Like, you want your family, my family's going to look the same because genes, they don't have that for the dog. Or is it they like to see a part of themselves in the dog? Like, is it a way to kind of get a bit of, I don't know, expand yourself into something?
I don't know, because like for me, getting a husky was never about like, yeah, she's pretty, but it was never about like choosing her looks based off of anything I thought had to do with me. Like I read even articles where it like comes down to their eyes, like the shape of their eyes even influence like people getting them.
I don't know about that. Well, maybe to some degree, I guess. As in, huskies are very unique. Very few people look anything like a husky unless you've got really stern features.
Yeah.
Very few people look like
a wolf.
Yeah. So that's a little bit harder, I guess.
For me, it was more like huskies are very muscular. They're very like endurance built, athletic. So that's kind of, I guess, but that's still, I see that more as like the traits about the actual dog, not the looks.
Yeah, I was about to say because
Sadie doesn't look
you've got
very
good endurance and you're fit and
muscular.
athletic, you're not quite, I wouldn't call you the husky of humans.
No.
To some degree, you know?
I wouldn't call Sadie the husky of dogs right now.
It's true.
She's a husky.
With that being said, though, look at Bo.
I know.
Bo's slightly different though because he isn't with the dog 24 like all the time. Well, maybe he is actually. He's with it a lot, but he's also out of town a lot because he sails.
Yeah. So we definitely have some friends who just doesn't like completely stand by.
To be fair, Bo's when we see him, he's very energetic. He's very out and about.
Yeah.
He's always wanting to do something. He's always quite, I don't want to say hyper, but he's always game. And that's kind of what
Parker is.
Not Parker.
Danny.
Danny is like.
I got him mixed up again today.
Yeah. Parker's nothing like Steph. Well, he doesn't appear anything like Steph. However, he is dark haired like Steph. That's about it.
That's funny.
Yeah, Steph, have you ever listened to us? Yes, your teeth are exactly like Parker's.
I've never even met Parker. I can't even joke.
He
about
would bark your head off. It takes a really long time to warm up to you.
Danny
so these are two
me.
Chihuahuas. I should mention anyone who doesn't know. We have a friend who's like 6'2" plus, and he's like 220 pounds, both fine. And his dog is a Chihuahua, and you can all know what a Chihuahua looks like. If you don't, it's like that pocket-sized dog. Well, it's actually a Chihuahua Dachshund mix, so it's the complete opposite physically, I guess. But yeah, I think we've spoken about dogs before in this, and like what dogs we'd want to get. And I think that I would have to go through it with a quite athletic, strong, big dog. I like big dogs. I like that sort of thing. I would love one I could run with, but they're not actually as easy to find as people think.
What do you mean?
I don't know. Every dog I've ever had would never be able to run with me. Or I've been saying that, I've only had one dog since I've been running, so I don't know.
You should run with Sadie.
Yeah?
It's such a challenge. Like, to get her to start running, like right now when she's fat, like to get her to actually like be motivated to start running is difficult. But once she starts running, like you're full on sprinting to keep up with her. Like it is hard.
It'll be fun.
So it's like if you want to do sprints, Sadie's your person.
Yeah.
Or your dog. So I read this article where like the cortisol levels of dogs actually fluctuate to the cortisol levels of humans, of their owners. So like if you own a dog and like you're going through like a depressive episode, like your dog tends to also go through that same depressive episode or similar, because like as your cortisol levels drop, so do theirs. These are like different personality traits that people tend to share with their dogs. And a lot of these are they're still personality traits, but they're a lot more on the like reaction side of things.
Okay.
Which makes sense to me. Like if the dog sees you react in a certain way, they're gonna think that's the appropriate way to react. Like I was saying with my friend that has like the very anxious dog, if if a new person comes in, if a new guy comes in, she like gets very just like, what's he gonna do? What's he gonna do? Like, not the guy, but like my dog to the guy.
Yeah.
And so then the dog starts barking, and it's like he's feeding off of your energy. Like that's why he's barking. But anyway, coping skills is a major one, and this is like how you handle situations, like especially like crowds and stuff like that. Mm-hmm. If you aren't gonna be okay in them, your dog's not gonna be okay in them, because they like kind of feed off that energy.
Interesting.
Confidence and security. That one makes sense to me too. I'm like thinking of all of these with Sadie.
Yeah.
Except I think she feeds off of Drake's confidence more so than mine, for sure.
Yeah, perhaps.
But she's definitely, for a long time, she was she like didn't want to ever be by herself, and I think that had to do with her being taken away from her mom so young. Mm-hmm. So I think that like a lot of experiences of their own experiences also play into that too.
Yeah.
Whether or not they're a morning pup. But again, like that goes into like if you're staying up late and going to bed late and your dog is also doing that, they're not going to want to wake up in the morning.
Yeah, totally.
But I can see that on the days that I like don't go to work. Like I see Sadie's routine, and it's kind of funny because like her routine doesn't really change when I'm there or when I'm not there. Mm-hmm. So it's funny to see like what she does all day.
Nothing.
No.
Yeah. Well, I guess what can they do? It's not as if they're going to go set your internet.
But then, like, on Thursdays, she knows that that's camp day, and she's, like, ready to go.
Yeah.
And then on Friday, like, she sleeps literally all day because she's so tired. And then yesterday, like, so yesterday was Friday, so she went to camp on Thursday. She was dreaming about camp and, like, running around, like, barking in her sleep. It was so funny. Boundaries. So this is, like, how to behave in public. Uh-huh. They tend to take that after their owner. These are, like, really weird. And feelings of fear. So the things that you're scared of, they'll be scared of. That's crazy. And then social preferences, like introvert, extrovert type of thing.
Yeah.
So I think that was another thing. Like we socialized Sadie very early on. Like she was always at dog parks, always going out, always like meeting new people. And so like my favorite story of her was we were like walking through our neighborhood and there was a lot of little kids, and this little girl came up to her and like just like started grabbing her ears and like grabbed her snout, and like Sadie's like not even a year old, so most puppies would not, or like not year-old dogs would not be okay with that. And especially like this dog that looks like a wolf. And this, like Sadie just sat there and took it. So like now kids like will try to come up to her and their parents will be like, no, like you don't know what that dog's going to do. And I'm like, Sadie's going to lay down and let your kid like jump on her, because Sadie loves kids. Yeah. But it's just because like, I think it's because we socialized her, and she sees us in those social situations and how we just like welcome it all, and so she welcomes it all.
So do you think things like dogs that are super aggressive, how much do you think that is nature and how much do you think is nurture then?
To what extent? Like what extent?
Well, like do you think that owners are aggressive people? Do you think that owners are just neglecting, or do you think it's just that you're a fighting dog?
Well, so that was my question. I don't know. So if it's the fighting dog and they're like bred to fight, then. But
what about say I got a pit bull? Like I am the most unconflict. Or I feel like I'm very non-conflict. I don't go towards conflict at all. I'm not an aggressive person in any means. I feel anyway. And would that dog still want to be aggressive?
No, I don't. I think so much of it's nurture. I think that like especially pit bulls get a really bad name because of
just for example because
that's a huge one. But I think that the way that they're raised is like that plays so much into it. Like there's definitely gonna be those like Sadie is very like mouthy. She likes to put her like teeth or mouth on you. Yeah. She doesn't bite though. Like it's very rare that she's ever bit. Like the one time she actually like snapped at me and bit me was when she had her teeth cleaned and they like left the catheter for like her blood or whatever in her arm. And then I thought it was just like a bandage. Like they just completely forgot like this wasn't okay. And I was trying to take the bandage off and like the catheter was still in there and I didn't know it, and she like tried to bite me at that point. And so then I realized what it was, took her back to the vet, they took it out, it was fine. But like that's literally out of 6 years with this dog, the only time she's actually like physically tried to bite me.
Yeah, it was when you hurt her.
Yeah. And then and even that, she like felt really, really bad immediately. And you could see it in her eyes or whatever. But like when we play, people like get scared. And I remember like this one friend was over and Drake was playing with her and he kind of like backed away like, is it okay for me to like be around her? Yeah. Because she does get so like mouthy and like loud, but that's just in her personality. But like, And same thing with pit bulls. Like, they tend to have like that mouthy, like, jump on you type thing.
Yeah.
Like, it seems like they're being aggressive, but if their owners aren't aggressive and like they kind of redirect that behavior to where it's just playful,
Yeah.
the dog's not going to be, for the most part, isn't going to be aggressive.
So we had a Great Dane when we were younger, and as you know, Great Danes are big dogs. And I always would bite, but I would grab with its mouth. Mm-hmm. So I would always grab at your arm with its mouth. If you're playing, or if it wants to show you something, or if you've just come home and it wants to go walk, it would grab your arm, as though you're grabbing someone's hand to take them somewhere.
Yeah.
And people always got worried and didn't like that. Or like, because we were quite a boisterous family, in fact, when we played, we'd wrestle and stuff. Mm-hmm. The dog picked up those same things, so it'd want to jump, and being a big dog, that's really daunting.
Yeah.
And when it's a big dog biting your arm and trying to jump on you, people get like, what the fuck is going on? But really, she's like as big as she's somewhat like Scooby-Doo. You know, she's just a big softie. She doesn't want to do or go anywhere.
Yeah.
You know? So that was funny.
No, that
But
definitely.
I can see why people might be worried. And when it's a dog that snarls rather than like growls, it's worse. You know.
Yep.
So that's maybe just style.
No, I definitely get that. Especially, like, Sadie scares other dogs sometimes, too, like, because they think that it takes a while for other dogs who aren't huskies to know that, like, what she's doing with her mouth, like, the noises she's making aren't mean.
Yeah.
And then once they get it, like, then they're fine.
Usually you can't, like, if a dog really goes mean on you, you can tell. There's a big change.
Yeah, for sure. But when the owners, and that goes back to it, like, we'll be at a dog park, the owners will see Sadie or hear Sadie and like how she's doing her little husky whatever, and they'll get nervous, so then the dog gets nervous. So then it's like the dog's like, oh, is that dog trying to hurt me? And I'm like, then Drake and I both have to explain to the owner, who then like calms down, then the dog sees them calm, and then the dog's fine.
And I guess there are times when that isn't the case. I know there are lots of terriers and small dogs get very nippy and barky, and that's not always an owner thing. That's just maybe a complex thing. But
Yes.
I know a lot of small wee dogs that seem really snappy, and the owners don't seem like that at all. But
yeah, it was like Danny with Sadie. Danny didn't
true,
like Sadie at first, and Bo was just like, what are you doing?
Yeah, very snappy.
Yeah, I think that definitely is a complex thing.
So Dogglegang, I'm trying to think who people we can say what sort of. Nah, maybe we don't want to talk about our friends' personalities and their traits, looking wise. Anyway, yeah. I'm trying to think, my little brother didn't really get a dog that looked like him at all. A little bit, dark haired, I guess.
But does he act like him now?
Not particularly. He acts a little bit more like my brother's wife.
Okay.
My brother would probably refute that, but no, because he's very playful. He's always jumping up and down, wagging his tail, looking for something to do, which Declan used to be. He's not so much now.
Declan just would jump up and down, wag his tail, looking for something to do?
Yeah, that's all he'd do. Declan's weird. I'd like to get a dog at some point, but I don't know. But I don't want it to be I want it to be one that can take your personality, that you spend enough time with. Mm-hmm. So that'd be cool, because it is like essentially it is a stepping stone to a kid, but also a stepping stone to see how you can. Like, if the dog grew up to be well behaved and, this and that, and all these sort of things, well, I've done something right, and it's obviously learning off me even when I'm not teaching it.
Yeah.
So then when it does come to something you can teach,
for
it
sure,
works a bit better.
I think a Rhodesian Ridgeback for you.
A Rhodesian Ridgeback, I have no idea what that. I feel like it's very short-haired.
It is short-haired, but it's also like stocky, and they're so pretty. I really want one. But I also want another husky.
Is this the one I think we spoke about this one before, right?
I love Rhodesian Ridgebacks.
I think you maybe mentioned this when we did our
Probably.
dog episode. When did we do a dog episode? Did we do a dog episode?
We did a sled dog episode.
Did we talk about other dogs doing that as well?
We talked about which dog you would want.
Yeah. I mean, it's big enough.
They're pretty big. They're a little bit bigger than Sadie, and they're more stocky. So they were actually originally bred to chase lions or do something with lions, something about lions. So they can run.
It's I'm not a massive fan of that style of ear. But other than that, they're nice dogs.
Yeah, I like the line down their back. They're just so pretty looking.
Yeah. Oh, like the under fur. Yeah, I don't know if I would necessarily look like that, but maybe I do. I'd have a line down my back. I can't tell. All right, that's good. You got anything else to add to this one?
No.
Good. It's a nice 30-minute episode, guys. Let us know. Instagram, Twitter, Facebook. We don't have one, but hashtag it anyway. At the Mumblecast. Let us know about your Doggleganger.
Yes.
We need to start that as a hashtag. That could definitely take off. Why is that not a thing already?
It
probably
might be.
is. Send us a picture of you and your dog. We will tell you if it looks the same. And if you think your dog's picked out your personality.
Yeah.
That'd be quite interesting. That's actually something people would like to Instagram.
Yeah, probably.
Okay, cool. Let's try that.
Yeah.
Okay. Anything else to add?
No.
Nope. Okay, well, in that case, I've been Liam.
And I'm Kayla.
And this has been Mumblecast.
Bye.